Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today. Brand new video. And sorry yesterday, wasn't able to get a new video up. My internet decided to crap out, but it gave me some time to think. We just had the newest patch with the newest buffs and nerfs go live, and we've had 2 full days of streaming and playing Hearthstone during that, and I have to say, it's been really disheartening to see what is basically has happened. You look at HS Replay, you look on Ladder in general, it looks identical to before the nerfs. You have Hunter on top, which I guess is bumped slightly, but I believe it was on top slightly before even the balance patch. But regardless, you have Hunter, you have Demon Hunter, you have Rogue, you have Warrior, and you have Mage as like playable classes. And then like Priest is kind of fringe, and Paladin, Shaman, just garbage. Druid's pretty rare, and it's just the exact same. I played Ladder, probably like 12 hours the last 2 days. I have faced 2 Paladins, 2 to 3 Paladins, and 1 Shaman in that time. Just nothing changed. And it's just like, we've had 2 consecutive balance patches now, where it effectively has changed almost nothing. Demon Hunter, each patch has been taken down a level, like a notch, but not that much. Like, it's still tier 1 right now, which again is fine, but like, it still pretty much warps everything, and then you have, the same deck still on top. So why does this happen? Why do they keep making patches that don't really change anything? Well, the reason things aren't really changing is they're not hitting the core issue cards for each class. They're kind of tiptoeing around it. Like, you take a look at what they did with Demon Hunter. They nerfed Crimson Sigil Runner, a 1-mana 2/1 that draws a card. That's not really what carries Demon Hunter. It's a good card, but it's not really a big deal. It doesn't really do much, and it's still playable even as a 1/1. It's a Novice Engineer for 1, but you can play other stuff because they have other stuff. And then they also hit Priestess of Fury, which was basically already being cut from every list. It was kind of too slow. But yeah, they hit it, and they hit it significantly. Priestess at a 6/5 is definitely too vulnerable and likely not playable, so sure, they hit that card, but it was basically not seeing play. But okay, it took it down a notch, and definitely in Wild, where in Odd Demon Hunter it sees quite a bit of play, but they don't make balance patches, these types, at least with Wild in mind. So with Demon Hunter, micro-adjusted, basically, right? You might hurt like a percentile with that, which again is what happened. It hurt like a percentile. Then you take a look at Warrior. You hit the core cards. There's actually 2 of these cards are core issues. Bloodsworn Mercenary, and you have the Brute. The problem being, they didn't hit the issue with the cards. Mercenary, it's a copy effect for very cheap. It's still a copy effect for very cheap with slightly less tempo. So you knock like a percentile off of it, but it still does the same broken thing. And then Brute it's a big body that can trade proactively, and you can cheat it out early. And again, it's the exact same thing. You can cheat it out just as early, and it's proactive, and the 5 to 6 damage will be relevant in like, a percentile amount of games. So again, it's nerfed, but it's very marginal. And then you look at Hunter. I think only Scavenger's Ingenuity got nerfed. Again, it's a 1 of card in Highlander Hunter, and I guess a 2 of in like Face Hunter. And again, the card +2/+2 is very good still. It's still being run in all these decks. All these cards, except for like Priestess, by the way, are still being run in their respective decks. So again, it's like, okay, you knock down Hunter, a slight percentile, again. And then you look at Rogue, Blackjack Stunner, and Hanar. Blackjack is still super efficient, quick sap that punishes your opponent with putting it more expensive in their hand. So that's good, but it's not 2. It might not be unplayable, so it's not quite as broken, so we knocked off a little percentile. And then Hanar, it might die to like Eviscerate or something. It might die to like a couple more things a little bit early on. But again, a small percentile. I'm being repetitive here, but there's a point. So you look at the decks that are way below the tier 1, tier 2 stuff, right? You look at Paladin, you look at Shaman, you look at that stuff. You knock the top decks down a percentile, but these other decks are below by like 5 to 10%. It's not even close. Like, HS Replay skews it a little bit, because you look at these numbers here I'm showing, that yeah, they look kind of close-ish, but not quite, especially not Shaman. But these are from bronze ranks. Like, these are low-rank games. You look at the list of HS replay decks at Diamond to Legend, then it's all out of whack. It's like way more below. So you do all these little nerfs that are like minor percentile changes. It just isn't really going to do much other than make the decks lose slightly more, but it doesn't matter when the other tier 3, tier 4 decks are so far below everything. It just doesn't change anything. So that's why we're not seeing a change on ladder. There are people experimenting, like No Hands Gamer gave like a full day to Paladin. I saw Jombre, I saw Ego Waffle, all these guys, they're trying to make it work. They just can't, because it's not good enough. It's not even close. Because the other stuff is just so much better, and taking 1% off of its win rate just isn't enough to catch it up. So what would I do? What would, like, the balance patches that I would have done to, like, see it change? Well, I'll just quickly go through it. Like, Demon Hunter. Warglaives is too good. It controls the game. It's the biggest problem card in Demon Hunter in terms of making it really powerful. You either take, like, the durability down, you up the cost, something along that line. Slow Warglaives down so that other decks have a chance to fight on board, because it stands, you just can't fight on board against them. Even Altruist, which is broken, is probably not the biggest offender, because you kind of have to high roll it with Skull and stuff, or have your Twin Slices and all that, but Warglaives just consistently lets Demon Hunter take every other minion-based deck out of the equation, unless they just go face, or their Warrior. It just doesn't work. With Warrior, they hit the right cards in my opinion. They hit Brute, they hit they hit Bloodsworn. They just needed to up the cost, really. Like, Bloodsworn at 4 and Brute at like 8 or 9 would have done a lot of good, because it slows that stuff down way more. It doesn't snowball right away. It doesn't lock every other deck out. And I think that would have done a lot. I've heard Skipper, people like Skipper's too good. You nuke Skipper to like a 1-2 or 2 mana, Warrior's dead. Then we have another Paladin Shaman situation. You can still make a good deck with Skipper, and you don't have to abuse Brute and Mercenary as hard. But those are the cards. I think they actually got the right cards, but they completely missed how to nerf it. And then we look at Hunter, it's just everything's overstated, right? You look at their weapon, you look at the Stormhammer card that just never breaks. It should be a 2-2 weapon. It shouldn't be 3-2. It's too good at that. And then the other card that's probably the biggest issue is Rottenness Drake. It's 6-5. Should be like a 4-4, a 4-5. It's insane premium stats with a game-winning effect if it kills something big. You just win. Like, how do you recover from a 6-5 that removed a big minion or a taunt or something? It's just nuts. So for me, you look at Rottenness Drake and you look at Stormhammer, they're just too freaking good. And then Rogue, it's all down to like the mana cheat stuff. You look at Edwin, which should be Hall of Famed. You look at Togwaggle, which should probably be 7. And then you have the whole Lackey and Galakron thing. I would hit Edwin, I'd hit Togwaggle, and that would probably actually make a difference with Rogue. And honestly, then you have Mage and Priest. I probably wouldn't go down that road because you can still counter them. But with I don't even know. But I'm going to go with the top decks that remain to be the most popular decks, which is Rogue, Warrior, and Hunter. And then, yeah, the buffs to Paladin and Shaman they just don't matter when there's no win condition. But maybe if you scale the classes back to a reasonable level, it'd have a better shot. But I think in terms of making Shaman and Paladin more viable, we might have to just wait until the next expansion, where they power creep them into playability, because they power creep the hell out of the other classes. So it's a tricky rope to climb, or whatever hurdles to get over, but the last 2 patches just really haven't done anything. And in terms of a meta where people are obviously frustrated, where they're calling for these nerfs, you hope they would have been a little bit more proactive, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see more changes, or maybe that special unicorn priest, or not priest deck, that's the old meme, the unicorn Paladin and Shaman deck will emerge, and we'll have like a more balanced meta. But let me know what you think. That's kind of my reasoning behind why I think it's so out of whack, and why it's such a frustration in terms of laddering against the same stuff. I wanted to see change, and I'm just not seeing it. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree, disagree? And yeah, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. And yep, have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.